call this meeting to order. Roll call. Councilor Antipas, Councilor Barber, and Councilor De La Cruz are not with us this evening. I know Councilor Barber said she wouldn't be here. I think Councilor De La Cruz is having unfortunately a pet issue. I think that his dog is not good. And I haven't heard from Dean, so Dean will show. I don't know. Anybody have any calendar communications? No? Great.
Oh, the big sub thing.
The big sub thing?
Roll out Friday.
Oh, sweet. They're very nice.
You were there.
I was there.
Are you there?
Yeah.
I was there.
A lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
They look great.
And Joe was there.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think there's going to be a story on tonight's news. Probably already ran, but you can look on Channel 61. There should be a story about the whale sub-trail.
Mark, you get the picture?
Yes, I did, Harry.
Okay.
Thank you. Just to follow up on that, the subs are actually going to get deployed to all their locations on July 5th. And as we've talked before, ours is going to go in that round island right at the front door of the Groton Public Library. Parks and Rec and Public Works are preparing that space. So possibly that's something that Sean and his folks can, maybe get a short video of, just so we have that. We do have a certificate, and we've also kept a clean copy of the flyer that we'll probably have mounted in the library somehow.
Are they marching in the parade?
I believe they are.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Great. They're going to be the trucks from New London. I forget the name of the company.
Fabulous.
Lending their thing, and they're going to take them all down.
They're lending them their thing.
And we'll be marching with them.
Yes, we will. Yes,
So
we
come
will.
out, public, and see your subs.
Okay. Any unfinished business that we want to talk about?
That we will.
No.
That's
As
good clarification.
opposed to the stuff we don't want to talk about.
All right. So that gets us to new business. The first item is 2016-016 on adoption of ordinance on school facilities initiative. And there was a public hearing on June 21st regarding the school initiative, and I think we had one speaker. And now we need to decide whether or not we want to push this forward to officially to an ordinance. Right? I'm sorry, hold on one second, Bonnie. That's correct, right, Mark?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I wasn't there, but I think there were 2 speakers.
Three?
I know-
I'm sorry, 3
I know it was
speakers.
2.
I take that back. 3. I think there was 1. But, go ahead.
The middle one.
I would love to move this project forward.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to move the project forward with a second. Is there discussion on
I
this?
have a question.
Yeah, Councilor Walton.
We don't need a vote from city planning and zoning, because they said in their minutes that there was by consensus, and then they had a stipulation about playing fields or whatever.
Right, you do have in your packet both the Town Planning Commission and City Planning and Zoning Commission responses to the
Yeah,
8-244.
the town was 4-0-1.
Our obligation is to provide them the opportunity. If they choose not to formally vote one way or the other, that's really on them.
Okay, thanks.
Any more discussion on this? Yeah, I think it's going to take a concerted effort from all involved to get out into the community and let everybody know the benefits, why we support it, and to carry it to referendum in November. Councilor Knoll?
I was not for this project originally, but after hearing all the information from the task force and explaining how much the old schools was going to cost, I'm 100% behind this project, and I'm for all and every kind of economic development in this town to get our tax rolls up, and I think getting our schools up to snuff is the best way to do it.
Thanks, Councilor Knoll. Well said.
So attachment 4 in your packet is the ordinance.
Yeah, there's a...
Yes, Councilor.
I'm sorry, I asked a question. There is a resolution that I assume we're going to read at a special meeting here shortly afterwards, so that'll suffice there. But Did the Board of Education get these grants in during June before the, had they gotten them in?
Will go in tomorrow or the next day. There are some action items after this that we need for that application.
Okay, because I know it had to be in by the end of June, and that's all part of the process. Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure this has been, forgot it, but I know that the Board of Ed voted, but has there been any kind of official statement from the Board of Education saying that they support the project?
What we've gotten from the superintendent, and you have it in your packet, is that they've approved the ed specs, and that, in his opinion, is approving the project.
Okay.
And in fact, the three resolutions, item 3, 4, and 5, the West Side renovation, the Cutler renovation, and the consolidated middle school, those three items actually came from Dr. Grenier.
Okay. So we have a motion to adopt the ordinance on the school facilities initiative, and we have a second. Council Perzati?
Do we need to read this?
That's the next one.
We can read it when we have a regular meeting.
I think that's fine.
All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 6-0. Which moves us on to 2016-0170, authorization to use a description of the ordinance for the school facilities initiative in the notice of adoption. And this is it's the official description of the ordinance.
Yeah,
right?
this is optional. You don't have to do it. It's I think the town clerk and others over the years have suggested we do it. It shortens the ordinance. So the ordinance has a lot of legalese in it, and it's a description that ultimately the town attorney would have to sign off on. This just makes available that option to do that.
So basically what it's saying is it's taking the big, long, 2-page ordinance, or right, and putting it into a few sentences.
It's probably more than a few sentences, but it will be shorter than the 2 pages.
Summary.
As my father would say, a Reader's Digest version.
So if we approve it, the text isn't yet written, right?
It is not yet written,
Okay.
that's correct.
Gotcha.
I will move that.
Second.
So we have a motion by Councilor Watson, a second by Councilor Perazzotti. Is there any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 6-0. Which moves us to 2016-0171, West Side renovation project. And there's also followed by Cutler renovation and consolidated middle school project. And
So while the voters will be approving this, assuming the RTM moves it forward, we'll be approving it as one project. However, the state looks at it as 3 separate building projects, one for each location. And so the letter that you have from Dr. Grenier dated June 20th is for each one of the schools, West Side, Cutler renovation, consolidated middle school project. But there are 3 items that need to occur for each one of those schools. Establishing a building committee. We do have a permanent school building committee, but there have been projects in the past, relatively small ones, where we have not assigned the project to the permanent school building committee, but maybe we've had the Board of Ed act as the building committee for that particular project. It would certainly be appropriate to have the permanent school building committee be the building committee for each one of these projects. Then we also have to authorize at least the preparation of schematic drawings and outline specifications. A lot of that's already been done as a result of the work that Mike Zuba has done from Malone and McBroom, and then authorizing the filing of the applications. And these next 3 items are the 3 items we're waiting for to be able to submit the application to the state either tomorrow or on Thursday.
Councilor Watson?
Yeah, we are going to have a special meeting here shortly to pass these, and we will read these in their entirety. So I will move all 3 as they're written here, and we'll read them all at the special meeting, if that's okay with everybody.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilor Watson, a second by Councilor Nault, and this is to move the 3 renovation projects, West Side, Cutler, and consolidated middle school project. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Wow.
abstentions? That passes 6-0.
Cooking tonight.
We sure are. That moves us to 2015-0178, Knowing School Public Gardens Task Force Semi-Annual Report, and this is on, because a meeting or two ago, there was some discussion about the terms and what we were doing with the gardens and what was going on, so it was put on to answer any questions and get any information out that people may need, and have Mark speak on it if he so desired.
Some of you have seen this before, attachment
7.
7. The second page of that is the guiding document, some people refer to it as the MOU, that the town has with the Knowing School Public Gardens Task Force. I think previously there's been some questions of who's responsible for what. I don't recall who was raising those issues. I don't even know if they're here tonight.
It was me.
Councilor Watson and Councilor Knoll.
I have 3 questions, because I read this. I mean, it's, one of them is on the guiding document, and then something that these good folks have, I guess that's part of the same thing, they're supposed to have a fund. And then I remember you talking something about pine trees, and I didn't see anything about pine trees in here. So I go to the first one would be that it says in here that it will be cost neutral to the town, and it really isn't, because we're cutting the lawn and supplying water to some extent. We did some of that stuff. I don't know, I'm just making a comment about that. And then they talk about the Knowing folks doing this are supposed to have a fund of some sort. We have any idea how they're doing there?
I don't, Harry.
And then the pine trees would be the last question. I mean,
Yeah, well, I think cost neutral, the thought, if I recall at the time, was, well, if we didn't have an arrangement with the community garden folks, we would be cutting the grass anyways.
Okay.
And the water, they're supposed to be paying for the water, or reimbursing us for the water. It is metered. We did pay for the installation of the.
We voted on that, though, I think.
Yes, you did, yep. And, the pine trees are, they went in, or the Christmas trees, or potentially Christmas trees, went in without any knowledge. We're not going to cut around them. There's some wording in here that we're going to do the lawn mowing with its normal customs and schedules. I mean, I think there's a couple hundred trees that have been planted out there, so we're going to have to work something out with them. Maybe they can weed whack every once in a while. But, that's an issue that hasn't really come up yet, and if it doesn't rain pretty soon, we probably won't have to deal with it this year at all.
It's going to rain tonight.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Councilor Knoll?
I hear what you're saying is if we didn't have the public garden, we would be mowing that. But if we didn't own it and we sold it, we would not be mowing it, which would have been my preference if I had been on town council. And I think that they have a lease to have that garden, and I think they should be in charge of their own mowing.
I mean, as far as the whole selling it goes, having been a part of the
I know,
meetings.
I'm too late for that train.
No, but anything the property would have been used for would have had to gone through Knowing zoning. And the zoning for that property was changed during the meetings. As the meetings were taking place, Knowing zoning changed the zoning of that property. And I don't think that it would have been very difficult for that property to be sold based on the.
But they do have a lease, and just like if you leased a house, you would be vacuuming your own home. And I think they should cut their own grass.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying that they're separate issues.
You've given them a very, very expensive piece of property to use as a garden. They should maintain it. That's my position.
Okay. So what do you want to, is there something that you would like to?
If I don't know if I have to do a referral first, but if I can make a motion that we not cut the
Well,
grass,
what is
I
the-
can do that. I'm not sure that's kosher.
We can certainly have find out what the bill is to mow it, and take it from there.
All right, I'll do a referral to investigate the cost of the yard maintenance by the town at the Noah Garden.
Okay.
So someone second it.
Oh, I'll second it.
Thank you.
Councilor Grimm?
Do we know if the lease mentions that at all?
There is no lease.
Yeah,
This
okay.
is the
Yeah,
only
this is it,
document
right.
here. And, you know, I certainly, my recommendation would be, before you go changing things unilaterally, that we have a discussion with these good folks.
Exactly, I don't disagree.
You know, they are supposed to be coming in occasionally to kind of update us and so forth, and maybe we can schedule that and also include that as part of the
I mean,
discussion.
Councilor Nault, the agreement that's here states that the town will cut the lawn. So that was something that was agreed to with them.
Okay.
And so I mean, I guess we probably have the power to change it, but I'm not sure it's the, prior council. It says the town will continue to maintain insurance, shall provide a water source, and will perform general maintenance, e.g. lawn mowing, in accordance with its normal customs and schedules.
Well, just for the record, at the time that this Noah Garden was approved, the cuts to the Parks and Rec was not as severe, and they are now, and I think we should look into it.
Okay. Councilor Watson?
Yeah, it's not really a lease, though. It's called a guiding document, so that's what it says here. We were advised not to go with a lease, as I recall, by the town attorney, so we just kind of had this.
I think as the discussions progressed, in order to have a lease with somebody, they need to be organized and so forth, and that wasn't where they were going at the time.
Yeah, can I just continue? I think I'd like to have them come in, because just find out how things are going. I mean, I suppose I could, shame on me for not driving by and walking across the property and looking at it, but I just haven't been over that way. But, I mean, did they get their 501c3? I mean,
I don't think they pursued any of that.
okay, I would like to have a discussion.
I think once they realized what it would take to be a 501c, that's why, there isn't a lease. It's a number of very well-intentioned folks that have a common vision for this property, that want to try to do something good for the community. I don't think they planned on, they don't have the money, that isn't where they wanted to put their efforts. They wanted to get their hands dirty and grow stuff, not spend a lot of time with attorneys and others and accountants and so forth.
I think it would be nice to have them in. How did the discussion go with Grasso Tech and Fitch? That was part of the whole discussion in the beginning, so it'd be nice to have them across the table.
Councilor Perizzotti?
The only other thing that, I mean, I don't know if it falls into the same category, because it talks about some fundraising in here, but, if the task force is going to make major changes outside of what's proposed here, like if they just planted 100 pine trees and now all of a sudden we have to mow around them, they should have come to us and said, we're going to plant 100 pine trees, now you're going to have to mow around them. To me, they have to make sure that we're inclusive in the plan of what's going on there, because if all of a sudden it becomes more encumbering some on us, well, then, the fair shaking, the fair hand isn't so fair anymore. And I know their major ringleader kind of, poof, disappeared out of nowhere, and, somebody just recently kind of took on what was going on. So there might be things that are, they're trying to get back on track.
They may have every tent, some of you have raised the pine trees or the Christmas trees, and they may have every intent of cutting around them, because if you continue reading that paragraph, it says, except that the task force shall perform all maintenance related to the public gardens. So that's my position.
So it's still a little loosey-goosey, so
It
maybe
is.
we definitely should probably.
Well, we
have
definitely
them.
can have them in, and at the same time we have them in, why don't we find out what the costs of cutting are? And we can address that all with them. Counselor Grimm?
But maybe there should be a more like day-to-day contact with whoever is in charge of mowing, you know, with the task force, so that, you know, it's not just once a year they're coming in here, but they're interacting with the folks taking care of the property too.
Counselor Noel?
I think it would be great for them to come in. I did go up there probably about a month ago, and there are little plots all laid out with the little bricks, and there weren't, at the time, I haven't been back in a few weeks, and the weather's gotten better, but they weren't that many gardens planted, so I think they should kind of keep us informed on how many people they've got actively using it.
Okay.
I mean, Clint Wright was in here a
Yeah,
little while ago.
right, he was.
Provided you with an update, and as noted in the reporting section of the guiding document, they're supposed to be providing us quarterly reports and also visiting with the council twice a year. So we'll get something lined up over the next month or so and ask Mr. Wright or whoever to come on in.
Great. We'll move right along to Aquarian Water Tower, Northeast Academy property.
This is purely for informational purposes. As I think most of you are aware, Aquarian approached the town a while ago about building a new water tower out in the northeast area of town in the Fieldcrest subdivision to replace their Nantucket Road water tower. They have fairly recently received their approvals from the Planning Commission that the water tower would be built on the Northeast Academy site. They did meet with the Board of Ed and staff and have gotten whatever concerns the Board of Ed and staff had in terms of its location and fencing and so forth. They ultimately need to come to the council formally and ask for an easement, a permanent easement, to be able to build the water tower, and they will also need a temporary construction easement. Planning is still waiting for the final check prints from their site plan approval. So this is really just a heads up that I do anticipate that they're going to want to come in and meet with the council probably in the next month or so. I don't know what their schedule is to build the water tower, though I can tell you it is very badly needed in that area of town. This is a tremendous infrastructure upgrade from the current tower that we have there that has been problematic over the years.
Okay. Any questions about that?
If any of you after the meeting are interested in taking a look at the plan, Deb Jones was kind enough to mark up the proposed easement areas on it.
The final item is 2016-0176, Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Program, additional roads for calendar year 2016, City of Groton.
Right, the mayor of the city gave me a call around a week or so ago, week and a half ago, indicating that this year, one of the roads that they would like to pave is Pequannock Road. They have gone out to bid, and the good news is the bid that they received came within budget. The bad news is it didn't include any contingency amounts, and the mayor and her staff feel that given the condition of Pequannock Road, there's probably a good chance they're going to run into a few surprises. You have a copy of an email that the mayor had forwarded to me, the number that she identified in the beginning of her email was $17,901. That was simply 10% of the bid price. And going back and forth in our email exchange, she also noted that she had let the council know back in January when she was here that they also had some CIP money left over from a number of years ago, and I think the way we left it at the time was, well, let us know how you want to spend it, and we would consider that. It would be my recommendation at this point that this is CIP money from 2013. It will be expiring in a year. These dollars were initially for Church Street, Smith, and one other street. And I think the cleanest thing to do is simply to note for the record that you're allowing the city to tap into that 29,000. Either way, we need to close this out within a year. And if they don't need the money, then it will still be there, and we can close it out once they're done. That's money that's already exists. It's already set up in an account instead of going back into the bond proceeds for the road project. So that would be my recommendation. I know the mayor's fine.
Councilor Noel?
So if we just authorized 17,901, will the remainder go back at the end of the closeout? Will that roll back into the general fund?
It would roll, when the project is closed, when the CIP is rolled out, it would go into the capital reserve fund, not the general fund, the capital reserve fund.
Okay, but it would go back for use.
Right. My recommendation is you simply allow them access to the 29,000. I don't know that, if you want to do the 17,901, fine, but given the scale of the project, I'd rather, it's only $10,000. I'm sure they're not going to spend it if they don't need to spend it. And hopefully they won't need to spend any of it. There won't be any contingency items, but however you want to do it.
Councilor Perizzotti?
So, so if we move it from the old CIP project to the current CIP project, does that actually give it another 5 years?
No. No, we're not really
I'm just
moving
trying to, like,
it. It's
think.
just that we would
But it's for
charge whatever amount you
roads.
approve
Okay.
of the paving project to that account.
Okay, that makes
In
sense.
fact, my preference would be the very first bill we get from the city, we charge it to the CIP. That closes it out. We'll use all of the 29,000, which in theory means they'll spend $12,000 less of
Less
the
on
road
that
bond money,
bond.
which then can just get rolled over to next year. This is really an account, I mean, if Cindy was here, she'd be, please, 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 let's close this up. It's just one less thing to keep
I'll make the motion.
track of.
If you'd like.
I'll second.
Councilor Watson?
Yeah, Mark has answered my question. He's going to spend that money first, so.
Okay, there you go. We have a motion by Councilor Perizzotti, a second by Councilor Grimm to approve this. Councilor Moore, did you vote?
No.
I have one.
Go ahead, Councilor Watson.
Mark, are there any other ones out there like this that
I
are
don't believe so.
CIPs that are just kind of like money kind of sitting around?
No, this was
that's
the
gonna expire?
last of the,
Okay.
of
I'm
the
looking for
road
money is
paving
what I'm
that was
doing.
done through our annual CIP program.
Okay.
So I think this would be the last one.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 6-0 to 0. And consideration of committee referral items as per town council referral list. We don't have any. Other business? I just have one question,
Go ahead.
if you don't mind, Mark. The, in front of Bank Square Books, there is a planters, big, are those filled by the town? I had somebody call me and say the town hasn't put anything in there. I'm like, I never thought it was the town, but
Well, there's a planter there, and then there's the
yeah.
a replica water fountain that sometimes has things in it, shark fins and whatever. I'm going to have to check. I believe we do plant. We do some of the planting there, but I also think the Mystic Flower Club is also.
Well, the woman is from the Mystic Flower Club who asked me, so
And what was she asking you?
she thought that, for lack of better words, the town had dropped the ball on putting something in there. You know, planting that we usually. I wasn't aware. That's why
I'll
I'm
have to
bringing it up.
check
So,
with Parks and Rec.
Okay.
I don't recall who's supposed to be doing
okay,
what.
thank you. Councilor Morton?
It's funny because I got a individual stopped me and thought it was a fountain and wanted to know when it was going to be turned on. You know, it's summer now, so
Oops.
Okay.
Also, did we skip approval of the minutes?
I think we did. Thank you.
Just wanted to,
Go back to that. Appreciate the. The reminder.
Did she move up?
I will move
Second.
approval of the minutes.
We have a motion by Counselor Morton, a second by Counselor Watson. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 6-0 to 0.
I move we adjourn.
We're adjourned.